Howdy folks, it's Ultra here and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Hopefully concluding the Transcontinental speed run. Spirit of St. Louis, Charles Lindbergh recreation flight. It has been the most challenging mission, bush trip, thing, activity I've ever done in this flight simulator, but it's worth it. That being said, I hope I don't have to do something else this involved for a long time. I thought the transatlantic one was going to be tough, but no, that was easy. That was just fly across the ocean and land in France. This, however, is a very different experience. So, yeah, first of all, the weather was killing us, like literally making us almost crash. We got that changed. You can't set it and forget it. Like the transatlantic one, I could trim and then just check every couple minutes, but this is constant engagement for 17 hours from the first leg and going on 8 or 9 hours on this leg. It's supposed to be 8 hours total for this leg. I'm almost already at 8 hours, which is fine. It's just, you know, constant engagement this entire time. I was trying to figure out exactly what city we were over, and I knew it, and now I lost it, so maybe somebody recognizes it. And I thought we were coming up on Derry up here, but maybe not. I'm pretty sure that's where we were. I'm just double checking the map. There it is, Derry. I think we're coming up on Derry, little town right there, and we just went over McChesney Town. Oh, wrong application. That'd be this one. Pretty sure that's where we're at. Yes, I know for a fact that's where we are because of the river. See that river we just saw? That river right there, that bonk, bonk, bonk little curve, that for sure is the Loyal Hannah Creek right there. So anyway, we are where we left off in the previous video. So welcome to part 9, those of you who are watching everything. I do ask to be, I will be annoying, if you, even if you don't normally like a video, please like this video, because very few people are actually doing these missions, these long ones, and I want people to know that we exist. So if you do a like on the video, it'll tell the algorithm, hey, there's someone doing this and people are engaged. Even a comment helps too, but even just liking it is fine. And subscribe so you know what else comes next, because after this mission, we have one 40th anniversary mission left. It's a 3.5 hour mission, which is nothing compared to this. And then we're done with all the missions, and then by the time this comes out, we might have the New Zealand bush trips released. I'm not sure what their timeline is on that, but there's Derry for sure, going into the first ridge of mountains, the Appalachian Mountains, with several different ranges, like the Piedmont Range. I think that's where we are, but then there's some others as well. So I believe the highest mountain is 3,500 feet, it said. I thought they were higher than that, but I guess not. Anyway, we're going to stay about 6,000. We're going to get blown around, though. We're going to get blown up with updrafts and downdrafts and all that stuff, so I got to be careful. But I'm going to stay around 6,000 until we reach New Jersey. And then we'll start coming down. We'll go by the New York skyline, and then we'll land. All in this video. That's about 4 hours of flying for me, though, if not a little more. But for you, it's condensed into a consumable video. So we're 120 degrees because I wanted to see what city we're in. We're supposed to be at 90, so let's get in the right direction here. The nav log, we read about that in the last video, but you can pause and read it right now if you want to. Yeah, 90 degrees. And then we can use the map to see how far south we've drifted. Not too bad. We're actually right where we're supposed to be for the most part. Come on. There we go. So what does that help us get through? I could track highway or Interstate 78, I think, but I've decided not to. 76 to 78. That brings us pretty far south, which would add quite a bit of time to this trip. That, though, would get us through Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which is the capital. And I remember that from school, because if you put a pen in your hair or a pencil in your hair to hold it, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Let's see. So yeah, we're gonna go through the mountains for a while, for quite a bit, and then Allentown, which will join us with US 78, and then off to New York. So let me get situated here and see if I need to talk more, and then we'll have some sightseeing. Actually, I think that's all I need to say. I don't even give much of an introduction. I'm beginning an introduction in front of every video. So, we are just going to fly over the mountains. I'll give you some sightseeing. If there's something for me to say, I'll say it. Otherwise, enjoy the sights. And then, probably, I don't know, when we get closer to New York, we'll start yapping again. And I'll probably be doing a lot of yapping as our final section comes up here. And then I'm curious to see how much time it records, because it was supposed to be, for this leg is supposed to be 8 hours and 1 minute, and so far it's been 8 hours and I got 3 or 4 hours left. So enjoy the sights, and I'll see you on the other side of the mountain ranges here. So we've left the mountains behind us, and we're flying over Allentown now. But more than that, if you look over here, you see the Delaware River, and that is New Jersey. So the Delaware River is going to wind around through here. And we're going to cross it up here. Not this is the Lee River, but we're going to go up here, cross the Delaware River, be into New Jersey, and then before you know it, we'll be flying by Manhattan onto Long Island and preparing to land. And I'm definitely not as nervous to land this time as I was last time. However, I cannot be overconfident because I do not want to go back and refly 4 hours. I just don't want to. So I'll be very careful when I land, but my point is I'm not going to lose sleep over it this time for a week. But in the meantime, we can admire Allentown, our first big city since entering the mountains. I try to capture as much as I could. Like I got Harrisburg, Pennsylvania in the sightseeing. I try to get some other stuff in the sightseeing as best as I could. I didn't label like towns or anything, but hopefully that's okay. So anyway, some looks around outside here while we leave the Appalachians behind. There's still some hills in front of us, but the mountain range stuff is done, so not very high compared to the crazy stuff we had to cross over before. But it did create enough turbulence that I was completely hands-on the entire time. There's no trimming it and forgetting it with this plane. This entire flight since San Diego has been hands-on. So a lot of long nights spread out over a couple weeks or whatever. So anyway, it's working out okay. Oh, you can see the Delaware River winding its way around here. Coming out there, coming on back. So any minute now we will be entering New Jersey. I don't have any stories about New Jersey or anything. I'm noticing that the Lee River does crash into the Delaware River in New Jersey, about where we're going to be. I thought the Lee River was going to escape us to the south, but it's not. So if we follow the Lee River, we will obviously know when we are in New Jersey. US 22 to the left and Interstate 78 to the right. They separated, but they'll come back together. They'll make up and come back up here somewhere. And then back they intersect in Jersey. And then we'll just follow 78, kind of follow 78, all the way to Elizabeth, New Jersey, of course. And then I'm looking for Newark Airport. Oh, there, yeah, we'll be south of Newark Airport. Not much, though. We might see, in fact, we will see from there, I'm sure. Especially if we go by Manhattan. So, yeah, okay, Elizabeth, Newark Airport. We'll see where we cross. I want to cross by Manhattan as close as we can, although we've been there a bazillion times. I want to make sure we cross there. So there's your update. I don't know how much sightseeing I threw in there, but it's been, well, it's a different day in real life, plus a couple hours flying. So even though it's maybe just a minute or two for you, it's been a long time since I touched this airplane. Isn't that weird how editing and time works? Like, I almost forgot what I was doing, but for you, it's just like a minute ago. Anyway, all of a sudden we got an updraft and we're up to 7,300 feet. Holy guacamole. We do not want to keep gaining altitude. I mean, we can. We have, we're not going to have to worry about rushing to the ground, but I like seeing things a little bit lower. So anyway, looks like the Lee River intersects the Delaware somewhere around here. So let's wait for that exciting moment entering New Jersey. But I guess before we hit New Jersey, we can look at Allentown in its entirety. Well, the airplane had a huge updraft that shot us back up 7,200 feet. What the heck is going on with this weather? It's like stale weather, too. It's not even ruled weather. But anyway, it's causing us a little bit of difficulty with the turbulence. That's okay, as long as we're not stressing the aircraft, I guess. And still waiting for that intersection of the Lee and Delaware Rivers. One more thing to point out, this Round Valley Reservoir right here is halfway between us and the ocean on the other side of New Jersey. So that'll let you know how close we're getting. From here to there, then there to there, there's ocean. In fact, oh, you can see right there. Look at, there's ocean right there. And Manhattan is like right up here. So, oh man, we're getting close. it's taken way more than the 3.9 hours this section is supposed to take. Well, this scenery isn't as good as St. Louis scenery, but you know what? It's okay. It will get better when we get to New York. We know that for sure. And we also know that our frame rates aren't even going to drop or anything, so that's good. Oh, look, you can see the ocean out there. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I wonder when we'll see Manhattan render in. Because it will render in chunks. We know that. That's how it works. So in real life, you would see it creep over the horizon towards you, but in the sim, it just renders in suddenly. It's too bad they don't render it in behind the horizon, and then it creeps up, but that would be rendering objects from like hundreds of miles away, so that isn't feasible. But anyway, keep going. We're still almost reaching the New Jersey border, just crawling along like a toddler. Toddlers don't crawl. Alright, as we cross into New Jersey, we also need to keep an eye on interstate. Keep an eye on Interstate 78. That real Interstate 78, which goes below us, and that'll go all the way to Manhattan. Well, as far for our intents and purposes, it goes to Manhattan, and that's how we'll know where we are. I mean, this is kind of a popular part of the country. It's hard to not know where you are, but you get the idea, right? We'll follow 78 across Jersey, and that'll take us to Newark and Manhattan and all that stuff. So just about to cross. I'm going to wait till we're literally across in New Jersey, and then I'm going to tune in to turn in. I'm having a hard time. I'm at one of my heart condition spells, but whatever. So I have a hard time picking words. I'm going to turn you on to or over to sightseeing until we get to the Manhattan area, and then it'll be blab, blab, blab all the way till we land. So enjoy the last section of peace and quiet while we cross over the state line, and then once we reach Manhattan, you'll hear my voice until we complete this mission, the most challenging mission I personally have ever done in Flight Simulator, and it is worth it. It's worth it. I will be glad to be done. I'm glad there aren't any more like this, at least built into the sim. I know you can buy extras, but there aren't any more like this built into the simulator. So there you go. Enjoy the sightseeing for a couple minutes, and then magically we'll be at Manhattan, and you'll have to listen to me again. See you in a moment. Well, this is the hilarity when things start rendering in chunks. Because as I watch our airport, not our airport, but Newark, parts of New Jersey are rendering in, and then pretty soon Manhattan will render in, and so on and so on. And it's a little jittery out there as it renders in, but we'll be good. We've tested this area many times before. Oh my. Why is it so jittery rendering in? That's not normal. Oh dear. Maybe it's because I've had the simulator running for like 6 or 5 days. Yikes. But I wasn't going to be able to fly this all in one sitting, so of course I left the simulator running. Oh boy. Well, hopefully it's flyable. Once we get past the area, right? Oh dear. This is not normal. You've all seen me fly this area with my settings cranked and we're pegged at 120 frames, so why is it jittery now? I don't have my frame rate counter up, so I don't know what we're getting, but goodness gracious. Could be my internet. I do get low streaming warnings lately for some weird reason. I do have a feeling that my internet's being throttled, even though they say it isn't, because we're a very heavy usage customer. But yeah, this is not normal when I fly this area. We've never stuttered in this area ever. So something else is going on. Either my network or the sim's been running like 4, 5, 6 days. I've lost track. Whatever, we'll get through it. We better get through it because I'm not going back to do it again, that's for sure. Oh brother, as long as it's smooth when we try to land, that's all that really matters. So very interesting though. Very strange. Well, now it's perfectly smooth, so it must just be like a streaming thing either from their servers or my internet, because now it's smooth and more is rendering in and it's still smooth. So I don't know what that was. It made me nervous, as long as it doesn't do it when we go to land. Let's see. I don't really want to keep this altitude. I want to come down a little bit, but I don't want to get our speed's going to climb, and it could burst into the yellow. Although I think, when was it where we were in the red and it was fine? It was kind of weird. Oh golly, look at that. Do you see Manhattan just render in as one chunk? That's kind of funny. But it's smooth, so that's all that matters. Let's just look around. Staten Island in front of the plane. New Jersey. Back here. Looking back into Pennsylvania. And back to Manhattan. We're a little south of the runway, or south of the path they want us to take, but because I'm just busy looking around. Still smooth though, finally, that's good. We only use 18% fuel, so I hope we're not too heavy when we land. That can make our touchdown speed a little higher. It should be okay though. I mean, we're still an hour out, 45 minutes out probably, but we should be okay, I think. We better be okay. So just like before, we're choosing the longest runway, and then we'll swoop down, level off, let ground effects hold us up, and then bring back throttles a little later than normal, let it touch down all by itself, which means we'll have a late touchdown, but that's okay. And then once the tail wheel is back, we'll hold the yoke all the way back, and in this case we are going to have to slam on the brakes because we have half the runway we did at the other place, so I can't just roll out the whole way. I'm just nervous that if I hold the brakes too long, it'll tip forward and do a prop strike, just like it almost did at the very last second in the last place. That's just how it stops. So I'm a little bit nervous about that, about having to hold the brake, but other than that, should be fine. And then I'm going to say we'll never need to land this plane again, unless you never know what they throw at us. They might have another activity that uses it or something, but I don't think we'll have another 20-hour flight where we need to land this again. And then we'll do the final mission from the 40th anniversary edition. And then pretty soon there'll be the New Zealand bush trips with the world update. If it's not out by the time you watch this. It should be coming out pretty soon though. There's Newark, which I've landed at in real life a few times. Super windy, turbulent approach always. My pilot friend used to be based out of there at one point in his career, and he said he landed there every day. And he said it was always turbulent and windy no matter what runway. In fact, when I was there for a layover, I saw an airplane land from the other runway, and he's like, how did he get that permission? It takes a lot of work to get that permission, so that's kind of funny. But I went to Newark because, oh, now we're getting jittery again, because I was flying from Minneapolis to Cleveland, and my company didn't want to pay for a direct flight, so I had to fly from Minneapolis to Newark, and then from Newark to Cleveland. And then on the way home, I went Cleveland, Chicago, Minneapolis. I do that twice. 2 weeks in a row for training. It was really silly. I'm like, I think the travel out there was 12 hours total with layover and the distance. I'm like, I could have driven it in 14 hours. I should have just driven it. But that's okay. That's okay. I've done those long drives plenty of time. Alright, there's Manhattan. We've done plenty of Manhattan tours, so we're not going to take time to do a Manhattan tour today. Just search the channel if you want to watch New York City tours with all my settings cranked and high frame rates and all that stuff. Just search the channel. But I'm just going to fly over Newark and then down Long Island. So actually maybe we're closer than I think to our destination, to be honest. Which is good, because this has been a long leg. So then the trick is finding which airport we're landing at, so we don't land at the wrong one. Oh, there's not much else out here. Never mind. Okay, once we get past LaGuardia and JFK, it's just right out there. Okay, so actually we don't have that much farther left. Oh, I thought we had like another hour, but we do not. Okay, so we should start coming down maybe a little bit. Maybe down to 4,000 feet perhaps. I'm bringing back throttles now. I'm not going to trim down anymore because I don't want us to accidentally gain too much speed. So let's just start coming down, although we're not really coming down. There we go. And barometer is always set for this. Oh boy, here we go. We just need to land this, let it save, and then we'll check to make sure it counted. And then that'll wrap it up. 9 videos. Goodness gracious. And yes, I'm probably going to ramble through the rest of this, so even though the video may have just gotten started, editing down the other part, the longest part of the video is going to be this. That's beautiful. See, now it's perfectly smooth, see? So it was just, must have been either, like I said, server streaming issue or my own internet, trying to stream all those chunks at the same time. So nothing to worry about. Good old Manhattan, but of course I've done Manhattan many times in flight sim. There we go. Now we're losing altitude. I had to bring the throttles way back. There we go. Very nice. That's kind of a steep descent. We don't need it that steep. And we want to avoid the big airports if we can, so maybe we need to be a little closer to Manhattan. Yeah, we can go right between the airports. I've actually never used either JFK or LaGuardia in the sim because for me, for some reason, they bring my frame rates down to crawl, but then the very second my wheels leave the ground, they're perfectly fine. I mentioned that a couple times in this series. It happens to a lot of us, but not every single person, so I don't know what's up with that. But I like smaller airports anyway, except when I'm landing this thing. I'll take the longest runway I can when I'm landing this thing. Anywho, there's Jersey. I have a good friend from Jersey. Staten Island. And back to Jersey again. Yeah. I've talked about New York many times. I've only been there once. No desire to go back. The only thing that fascinates me about New York City, because I have lots of friends actually that live there, is they live in these high rises. No one has curtains. They can all see each other all the time, which I think is interesting because it's like they act like they live in the middle of nowhere, but they live in the most densely populated area. Like, so whatever. It's kind of funny. I just find that stuff amusing. But yeah, I've got a lot of friends. Oh, there's Statue of Liberty. I have a lot of friends in New York. One of them used to be on SNL. I will not name drop, sorry. Another one is an editor for a very famous publishing company. And she's worked with very famous authors. Again, I'm not going to name drop. When I was at their wedding, there was all these like celebrities and SNL people. It was super overwhelming because it was all these like, you know, high profile enough people. And then 6 of us from Minnesota. There's Governor's Island. That's what this is. Brooklyn. So that was kind of weird being with all these people. But then I knew not to like, you know, freak out and get starstruck by all the people. But I was among them. So that was very strange. Yeah. It was very interesting. I'm tempted to name drop, but I won't. Nope. But look how good this is rendered in now. Just beautiful. Let's give some love to this side as well. When we stayed in a hotel. We stayed in a hotel in Brooklyn, but then we ended up at a pizza place under the bridge, under the Brooklyn Bridge. There's that pizza place, and we actually had a dinner. There were some people, including some celebrities. It was insane. But that being said, I have rock star cousins like that. Literally, were like big names in the 90s grunge era. Again, not going to name drop, but they toured the world, and they play some sessions with people and stuff, and their own bands toured the world. And they're just people, right? So, you know, I'd meet these people that were being played on the radio and be like, oh yeah, you're my cousin's friend. Yep. Like, okay. I think I mentioned at my wedding there's actually an autograph line for my cousins, which is really funny. Alrighty, that's beautiful, but we're getting a lot of freaking turbulence. We got to pay attention to what we're doing here. Keep an eye on our speed. Oh my gosh, what if it oversped right now? Keep an eye on our speed and look for our airports. We can land at the right one. We still have to get by JFK. And LaGuardia is not. Yeah, LaGuardia is way up by Rikers Island. For the Law and Order fans, over that away, we've done an air tour of Rikers Island before. Oh, I just want to look around after, 20,000 hours of flying this. So the first leg took me 17 hours. I'm curious what this one is going to take. Because it was supposed to be 14 and 8. Right? So like 22 hours for the entire trip. Let's see what ours is. I'm sure we did not break any speed run records. Okay, we're at 3,000 feet. We better get the fuel back in here because throttle back in. We do not want to come down yet. So runway 14 it says to use, which is fine because that's going to be pretty much straight in, which was the plan. And runway 14 is the longest runway also. We're a little bit to the south based on our map. Okay, yeah, so this is not going to be another hour. It's only been 9 minutes since I said it was going to be an hour. So, okay, good. Yeah. Gorgeous city, but we really need to get back to what we're doing here. There is JFK to the right. See off the right wing, LaGuardia. Over there, Maxi. And Rikers Island. Rikers Island is right here. Yeah. My friend right now, one of my pilot friends, he was based out in New York for a very long time. Then he was based out in Newark briefly. Then he was based out of Los Angeles, LAX for a long time. And then, he's based out of Atlanta now. Yeah, he's based out of Atlanta because I was teasing him that he's working the busiest airport in the world. But he says big airports like JFK, LaGuardia, LAX, he's like, they're actually easier because the way they divide up traffic and the conga line and all this stuff. He said it's actually easier to work out of a bigger airport, something like that, which makes sense to me, right? If they're built to handle it. I'm always interested how it almost like New York has two skylines, like Manhattan Midtown, and then why am I drawing a blank? Oh my gosh, I can't remember. Sorry, it's really late. It's like after midnight on like my 5th day of doing this. I mean, by 5th day, I mean 5th day of this leg, not 5th day doing the trip. It's been like 2 or 3 weeks since I started this trip, this mission. I just spliced it all together and you can't tell. Except when I have a very, very early morning start. Always, mostly it's at night. But I had a few early morning starts. And then I get the morning voice going on. But okay, so here we go. We're getting there. Yep. Okie dokie. I don't see anything yet. That's why I'm keeping my altitude where it is. Whoa. There's some turbulence. We're right on track though. Flying 94 degrees or so. Oh boy, why turbulence now? It was so smooth for so long. I'm tempted to make it night and then we see the airport light up. But there goes LaGuardia. Or JFK, I mean, sorry, LaGuardia's over here. Driving these by car. Oh my gosh, we went from Brooklyn to... which airport was it? JFK? It took forever in a car. And then we took the train from JFK to Brooklyn. That took forever. This area is a lot more vast than you realize, I think. Unless you're familiar with it. So it's super dense like a European city, but it's way more vast. Like think about it, if you take the New York area and zoom out, there are entire countries that are smaller than the New York area. Is that right in front of us? No. No, it's going to be dogleg to the right because it's runway 14, which means 140 degrees. Is this it here? That looks like it, but the runway seems too much straight in. If it's straight in from 90 degrees, that's bad because that means we're going to be on the short runway, and it's like at 1,200 feet shorter, I think. So we do not want the short runway. And yes, I'm rambling away. I warned you in the beginning of this video, you're going to be listening to me ramble for the whole approach and landing. So here we are. Okay, alright, enough looking at New York. Enough looking at New York. Let me see, what is the sign? K Kilo Foxtrot Romeo Golf. Kilo Foxtrot Romeo Golf Airport. And I just wanted to know what the runways were. Where's the chart? I had the chart up here. Yeah, 14 and 19. So there's no way there's one straight in. Not from this angle. 14 is 1,600 feet. 19 is 55, so yeah, 1,300 feet difference. Told ya. Alrighty. Where are you, airport? Where are you, airport? Now that I'm at the last couple minutes, I'm getting really sleepy. Oh man. Let's make sure I have enough energy to land. Because, I'm not redoing these last 4 hours. And where is this airport? Here we go. I can use the racetracks, or whatever those are. Where's my mouse? There it is. And look on Google Maps and try to find where the heck I am. Okay. That is Belmont Park. And this road here winds directly to the airport. That looks like it's State 24. Yeah, I think it's state, not county. I think it's State 24. So this we don't want to follow. Those are like train tracks going somewhere else. We want to follow State 24, winds around, boom, right to the airport. So that must be it right there. That must be it. Beautiful scenery though. Look at that huge park. Beautiful, beautiful. Of course we've done this corridor many times at this simulator. There's been many activities that have sent us through here. I still want to see if Lufker Spadaro is modeled in here, because I had that. That was my only payware scenery. No, sorry, take that back. I had 2 payware sceneries for X-Plane. One was Pullman, Washington, because my wife had her master's there, and she had a good time in grad school, let me tell you. So I lived through her vicariously. And then I had Lufker Spadaro, or whatever they call it, just because I had X-Plane store credits, so I got it like with my credit, or not credits, but like points or whatever. But other than that, that was the only pair of scenery I had for X-Plane. So I was wondering if that's because I think those airports are closed now. So there's like a big family feud or something. I can't remember. But anyway, I'm curious to see if they made it into the simulator. So I have to write that down on my list of things to check, and if they do exist, we'll fly them, because they're very difficult airports. They're really teeny tiny, and like a Cessna barely fits in there. And they used to do skydiving operations out of one side and banner flying operations out of the other. Holy moly, it's acting like it wants to stall, but we're way above stall speed. I know we're heavy, and I know we're close to the ground, so we're going to become train turbulence, but jeez. Let's keep our altitude up a little bit. I think it's 81 feet is elevation, 81 feet. Actually, I can check the actual map and see what the sim says it is. The sim says 70 feet. Real life says 81. So basically sea level, right? I mean, it does matter, but whoa. So we got to come down 2,700 feet, give or take 26 something. So that's how high we are above ground level right now, and this train turbulence is insane as long as it doesn't stress the aircraft. But man, these last couple miles feel like we're just crawling. Okay, how many miles are we away? We are, looking at Google Maps, we're still about 12 miles out. Yeah, okay, so we're a ways out yet, but feels like forever. And using my big brain, runway 14 is 140 degrees, and we do not want to follow the road all the way there, because that'll put us on the threshold of runway 14 and we won't have an approach. So I would like to not need to do a traffic pattern. I would like to just fly straight in. Let's keep our altitude up a little bit, please. I would like to fly straight in, but we'll have to see here. This is where it's actually easier sometimes to land at night, because the airports are all lit up. And when it's super urban like this, it's hard to see sometimes. Oh, New York is still rendered in. I think I might see Pappy right here. And it says we're way too high. I guess maybe that's true. So what I'm going to do is swing out. Oh my gosh, this turbulence is insane. I'm going to swing out. Is that our airport though? Yeah, because those look like lights maybe. No, that can't be Pappy. I'm going to swing out this way until we're staring down runway 14. Or is that, see, that would make more sense, but I don't think that's it, because let's try this little trick here. Let's see. That's definitely not it. That's not it either, I don't think. Maybe it is. There's that. I can't see anything. I really can't see anything. So I think what we're going to have to do is just follow the path in, follow the road in until we find the airport, and then do a traffic pattern, because this is ridiculous. I can't make sense of anything. So let's keep enough throttle, keep 3,000 feet or so. Yikes, don't let our speed get too high. I know we're in the green, but I don't want it to like spike up because of something and then we stress the aircraft. So I want to keep it below 80 if I can. Gears down, no flaps. Nothing to worry about there. Just coming in smoothly and let ground effects get down gently and then brake gently. What does our nav log reference image look like? I mean, it's pretty dang urban if you look at it. I mean, there's buildings all the way up against it, so it's not like you have an open airfield to spot, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you have a huge airfield. So I really can't see anything. As long as there aren't, whoops, wrong one. As long as there aren't objects at the runway, because I want to have enough room to swoop down and level out. Oh, I just saw a beacon, I think. Did I see a beacon? Maybe not. I mean, I'm thinking this is it here. But where did our road go? Because our road went right... Yeah, that is it. Because here's the road, then the road goes around the airport. So this has to be the airport. Because the road came out here, and then it turns down and around it. Yeah, that's it, I think. Oh boy, do you think I can catch... Yeah, that's it. Do you think I can catch it from here? Do you think we need to give ourselves more space? That better be it, because if I land at the wrong airport, we're not taking off again. Not with this much fuel, it's a short runway. Boy, that looks tiny from up here, doesn't it? Oh, man. Okay, so, I'm trying to decide if I'll do a better job if I talk through it or don't talk through it, you know? Yeah, that's it. Holy moly, that looks tiny from up here. Well, we're bringing back throttle so I can come down without gaining any speed here, hopefully. Where's the runway start? I mean, it looks like a huge open area, I think. Oh no, I'm looking at... What am I looking at? Compared to... What? What am I looking at right now? I thought that was a runway, but maybe this is the runway because there's a touchdown zone and a huge threshold. Okay, I don't know what that is. That must be a road over to the left of it. Alrighty, here we go. Oh, brother. Okay. I wasn't nervous about this until now. For the other leg, I was nervous for like 3 or 4 days out, maybe even a week out. But for this, I wasn't nervous at all, and now I am. Oh boy, here we go. I've done this many times with this plane. This isn't my first rodeo, so we should be okay. Oh boy, here comes the adrenaline. Remember the last leg? Okay, and I'm really tired and a little bit dizzy. Okay, we're way too fast. If we don't lose speed quickly, we're going to have to go around. So my plan is to hover over that threshold, because that's a long threshold. We're going to hover over that, and then let ground effects take us. And then possibly we will still touch down at the touchdown zone and have all that braking space. But we're going really fast. And if it is a fancy airport, that would explain why it's stuttering. Okay, here we go. There we go. Now we're bleeding off speed. Trim like crazy, although it's not really going to make a difference because, oh, there's a little bit of crosswind. A little bit. There we go. Oh, wow. How can it be windy when you have the wind turned down to 1 or 2 knots? We're coming in kind of fast, but that's okay because we're freaking heavy as the dickens too, so. Fast is okay. We have lots of room. Okay, turtle, you can do this. Oh, my heart is beating through my chest. Here we go. Do not collide with object. There we go. Okay, here we go. We're coming down. We're just going to hover. Hover, hover, hover. Hover, 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 hover. We're okay. Where's that? There's ground effects. Bumping is okay. And we crashed. It's because we were so heavy. That means you have to go all the way back to that lake in Ohio. Oh, man. I was sure that we weren't going to crash. I wasn't overconfident. Yes, I was overconfident because the other ones went so well. I was sure we weren't going to crash, but we were so heavy. Is this that lake? Where's it putting us? What? Hello? Where did it put us exactly? Yep, it's that lake. So I gotta fly 4 hours. Again. How did I crash that? Because, oh my, whoa. We're gonna stress the aircraft. How come my yoke's not working here? What the heck? There we go. Oh, my mixture was all screwed up because it restarted. Okay. How did I crash that? Because, oh, look at the fuel, though. I'm trying to think of how I crashed. So, I was hovering perfectly. And it was so heavy. I wasn't going too fast. I'll have to analyze the video and see what happened. I'll just have to analyze the video because I'm so bummed. I thought for sure I had that in the bag. I mean, this is kind of dumb now. I mean, I don't mind the flight simulator hours, but and how come we're going so fast? I've never been able to go this fast before. This is weird. What's going on? Let me think this through. We're not going to refly the 4 hours right now, but let me think this through. Oh, my trim is screwed up, and that's what's going on. There we go. What happened without watching the video as I talked through this? My rate of descent seemed okay, but we bounced because I wasn't going too fast, or did I? See, that's the thing. Did I stall at that last drop and then it came up? And then I did that oscillation thing they call it when you start bouncing? Or was it going too fast? I can't believe it. I've landed this thing so many times perfectly, and then I screwed up. Well, anyway, that's going to end the video. Is it going to end the series? I don't know. Am I going to find the time to fly 4 hours again? You know I will. I don't want to leave anything incomplete. So I'm going to fly, I don't know. Whenever this video goes up, if I have flown the last 4 hours and recorded just the landing, then there'll be a quick little part 10 of just me landing, I guess. Otherwise, it'll be a while because this is very deflating and I'm taking this way too serious. I'm just really mad. I don't get mad often, but I'm really mad because I've landed this thing just fine so many times. What did I do wrong? I was watching the shadow so I could touch down smoothly, and I thought I was touching down smoothly, but then when it bounced I knew I was in trouble. So then I gave a throttle to get out of it, but it was too heavy because it was so much fuel. I don't know. I will figure it out another day, so make sure you subscribe so you know when I figured it out and landed this thing. So there's going to be a part 10, I guess. It's going to be a quickie part 10 because it'll just be me landing, but subscribe so you see when it happens. I'll see you then.